Now it should be recording. Oh, it is recording.
It is.
Yeah. Now, because I wanted to do this for a while, so I want you to tell me about, again, this is my father on the left, Wyamon Combs, and this is Aunt Faye, Faye Stamper, Lula Faye on the right. I just wanted to ask you all some questions because I've heard you talk about when you grew up and when you were young and uh, how good it was back then, actually. Even though, there's depression through the depression and wars and everything, uh, how your childhood was. So just want to talk to you first a little bit about how it was when you were growing up, when you were kids. You got to talk too. Go ahead, Daddy.
A rough road to hoe back then. First, people would trade chickens and eggs for what they call bartering.
Bartering.
Yeah, back and forth, swap eggs out for something else. Had their own milk cows, raised their own hogs, or starved to death one.
Where were your gardens at? Were they like where yours is at today, or on the side of hills?
On
Or
the side of the hill, we cleared out, we cut timber down, cleared out, make a new ground to raise corn, feed the cattle, cows and mules and so forth.
so you cooked your own? You'd make your own meat and everything.
Killed their own hogs, made their own sleds to haul corn with.
Had cribs to put the corn in during the winter.
Cribs, but
Corn cribs, they call them.
Oh yeah, I remember the corn cribs at
Yeah.
Grandma Combs's.
And we'd take the corn, shell it, and take it down to up here at the Y. They had a grist mill. We grind it up,
Yeah.
the corn mill, and then they'd take a toll out of it. What, a quart? Probably about anyway, so much of it for grinding. Take a toll.
How old were you when they do all that? That you could remember?
I was big enough right at 12.
See, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that part?
No.
12,
Well, you're
15.
younger. How much younger are you than Daddy?
Well, I'm 76. He's,
I'm
So-
86.
So you're 10 years apart.
10 years.
You the baby girl?
yes,
Yeah.
a baby girl.
Were you spoiled?
By yeah, my dad. Dad never did spank me. Not even smack me.
Yeah, my dad never spanked me either.
Didn't he?
See, Lloyd was, that's Lloyd's pet too, her.
Oh, Uncle Lloyd. So Uncle Lloyd was the oldest child.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and he was killed or died after he'd gotten hurt in the military. I don't know.
Navy.
Navy.
21 when he died.
What, did he get oil in his lungs and stuff from what happened to the ship?
It's an oil tanker and they blew it up.
Yeah.
Jap suicide sub.
Was he trying to swim to a lifeboat and
Yeah.
damaged his lungs?
I don't know
He
how
got the
many
oil
of-
and stuff into his lungs.
Oh, the water was 60. I forget how many burn up.
Yeah.
The oil on the water.
So what about when you were a little girl, Aunt Faye? What kind of clothes did you have? Did you have clothes made?
Oh, Mom made him.
What'd you make them
And
from?
then they bought dairy feed for cattle in bags.
Yeah.
And they would be real pretty flowered print. So she made my dresses out of the,
Out of the sacks.
yeah, we call it the feed sack
Yeah.
dress.
Feed sacks?
Yeah, feed sacks.
Yeah.
And they was pretty, you know. I was tickled to death.
Yeah. And what about shoes?
Well, usually,
About one pair a year.
yeah, and Miss Vanetta, the Presbyterian church, she was the missionary there. She ever so often got in clothes, and sometimes Mom would get us things down there. And we would usually order them with
Yeah.
How many kids are in that family? In the family? I know, but as
8.
there's 8 of you.
And
Does
plus
that
we
include
have a half
foster?
brother, Foster.
So there's 9.
There's 9.
And then right now, the only ones that aren't here anymore is Foster, Burness, Lloyd, and that's it. Everybody else is still living.
Yeah, lucky.
And right now, Daddy's the eldest living one.
The oldest chicken in the pot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wanda's next to me.
You're the oldest chicken in the what? Pot?
Lot.
Oh, the oldest chicken in the lot. And then Aunt Wanda.
Yeah,
Then who's next? Carl or Margie?
Carl
Carl and then Aunt Margie. Then Aunt Faye.
and Lonnie.
And
There's
Lonnie's
8
the
years
baby.
between me and Lonnie.
There's 8 years between the youngest girl and the youngest boy.
Baby and me, yeah.
Has Lonnie turned 70 yet?
Lonnie was born in 46. No.
No?
69.
He'll
Right?
be 70 next year, yeah. Yeah, I think his birthday was in March 7th or 8th, I can't.
8th.
Yeah.
Go out there and pull them cow's tits early in the morning. Get mother milk.
You'd have to do that?
Yeah, I had them now, yeah.
And he milked with both hands. He set the bucket down.
And then I wore out, I don't have any churn to make butter.
Oh, yeah. I've seen Grandma.
And, poor Mom would take hot water when she to rinse the cow off before she got a hold of the
Watch your tits.
Yeah.
before she started milking.
What
And
about
her hands would be so red and chapped and
she worked hard, Grandma?
oh God, yeah, didn't she?
Yeah.
Plus she worked in the fields too, you know.
She'd have us in the field. She a hard time then, and then to half the time she'd wear men's shoes,
Good Lord.
you know.
What about your grandma? You told me a lot about your grandma. I don't know. Is it? I think it's
Lula.
Grandpa Combs' grandma, I guess, isn't it?
Well, we didn't know too much about her.
I didn't.
Who was the one that had the dirt floor?
That was my mother's. No,
Oh,
her dad. did.
ma'am. My great grandmother,
Yeah,
Lula Potter.
Lula, yeah. She's the one that the hogs stayed in the house too with her.
See, I don't. You remember that? See, I did.
You know, and to lay under the table, she said back then. That was when she was little, see.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would tell us these tales.
And that's when the hogs. She's telling me they backfiring.
But yeah, and them at the table now. Can you imagine a big nasty hog?
And go out there and mark in the barn. Then Dad had a place to chop corn.
Yeah.
Then you had troughs to feed them in, you know, the cattle. But then chop that corn up
They call them nubbins
and nubbins and put it in there.
when they chopped it in a little, so the
And back
cow
then-
could get one back.
Winter, it's so cold in the winter time. Back when I was growing up, we'd have to take a sledgehammer. Go out to the barn there in the creek and bust up to the water hole there for to drink water.
Do you think the weather's different today than it was
Oh,
then?
yeah.
Oh Lord.
Did you have a lot more snow back then, or just cold?
And then when
It's just cold.
it's cold
Oh,
and
dude.
the creeks would stay frozen all winter would.
They'd be icicles from the home
We
place
could
over
skate
there.
all winter long.
As big as a vehicle, where it could come off the hill, you know, it freeze when it come out.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, our
you don't
creeks
see them no more.
stayed. We could skate all winter long.
When
for
you say
months.
skate, did you use ice skates or your shoes?
Her shoes
Uh,
fall and they get bruises and
Back then, you get shoes had a steel plate on the back of your shoe, and buddy, you can move on that ice now. If you had them on
right.
You used to do it on the creek up there by the home place?
there. Up there, up the road there.
Yeah, or on the big creek.
You don't know where the spring is across the creek there, do you?
Yeah.
Well, the Indians, I'd say, cut that out.
Yeah, that's that natural spring we used to
Yeah.
go up and drink out of when we'd work in the
Yeah.
field over
And we
there
call
when I
that-
was little.
A pool of water, the George hole there.
The George Hoe?
Uh-huh. And it had it was slate-like, but a narrow slide down. So we get up there and slide down that and hit in the water, see, over it, splash all over it.
So it's like a water slide.
And then we clean it out every so often, dam it back up.
Did you ever drink that water?
Up
In
in
spring,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
And
good.
we used for a cup, what do we call them? Cucumber leaves?
Yeah.
It's a big old leaf and you kind of twist it around
Make a dipper out
and
of it.
make a dipper out of it. And you drank out of that.
I remember that when I was little.
Yeah.
What kind of, was it potatoes? What did they grow over there in that field? Tobacco or potatoes?
Where's
Across from where that little stream is. That.
Where the
Wait,
little
that's
spring
what-
was.
That's where we had the garden. That's
Yeah.
all we had for a garden. Forever till Dad bought the Andy Oaks place there where the barns are now.
Yeah, I remember when I was little though. You'd take me over there and we'd do something in that field.
We did. We raised a big garden. We enjoyed it 1 year, 2 years. A lot of beans. Been a lot of stuff raised in that yard. When we was growing up, and I'd haul manure out of the barn in a corn in a sled.
Mm.
We hauled corn in, then I'd clean the stalls out with the manure and take it up the road. It was a dirt road then, up to the garden, spread it out.
Yeah.
That was a fertilizer.
So what's the earliest you remember, Aunt Faye, when you were little?
Oh, let me see. I remember, I don't know how old I was, but I remember who got the first television on shoulder blade. It was Marie and Floyd Batt. So Foster and Margaret would come up every Saturday night, and I'd go with them, walk all the way up that holler, you know, and watch wrestling. And they were the only ones that had a TV.
You ever remember, did you all listen to radios
Oh, yeah.
before you had TV?
Oh, yeah, that's all we had.
Batteries, it wasn't no electricity.
Do you remember what kind of shows used to be on the radio?
The
Oh,
only one
yeah.
I really remember.
Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger.
And,
Did they ever have like music shows on the radio?
They had a lot.
yeah, they'd play songs, but a little birdie and what was them oaks?
The
But
bluegrass?
Up the holler here, I'd walk across the mountain, and up here they had the radio. Everly had one of them big ones. He worked in the mines too, that's how they could afford that. Every weekend I'd go up there and stay all weekend. We'd watch Live the Grand Ole.
So
Grand Ole
you'd go
Opry.
and stay all night?
Yeah.
We lived the Grand Ole Opry all night long day.
Hmm.
And then Uncle Jordan bought a big one. And then we'd go up there in World War II and listen to the war news on it, you know. I don't remember what year they elected that house.
I can remember when they put that in. I can remember that.
What year was that?
Wyamon, I must have been about 6, I'd say. So that must have been in, I was born 38, early 40s.
Yeah. Forced to have cut the right of way. You know, they pay them so much to cut that right of way, and they'd give them electric first, you know.
So we talked about Uncle Lloyd, who's the oldest child out of the family, other than Foster, who is a son from Grandpa's first marriage.
Right.
Other than him being in the Navy, Uncle Burness, was he in the military?
No,
No?
he never could pass
The physical?
yeah, could he, Wyamon?
He had a spot was on his lung, and they turned him down.
But the rest
then-
were.
And then the next one is Daddy, which is the Korean War.
Right.
You were in the Army, right?
Yeah.
And then what about Uncle Carl?
Carl was
Army.
Army. He stayed at Fort Knox,
And then Uncle Lonnie was in Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
So all the boys served except for Uncle Burness.
Yeah.
Was Foster in the military?
No. They turned him down too.
Can you remember, what else can you tell me about the war times? Like, were you, like the Great Depression, things like that?
No, I wouldn't remember that more than me.
The Great Depression, you couldn't.
Is that when Dad passed out
They passed out
commodities? or something?
commodities, call it then. The government,
Yeah.
you know, each family got so much. Make a can of this, a can of that.
They stored it at Dad's, you know, and they come down there.
Oh, and he'd be the one passing it
He'd
out?
be the
Yeah.
one passing it out.
He'd pass it out. And then everything was rationed back then. You just allowed so much sugar, so much gas. You couldn't hardly get any with the black market, you know, people.
And if you used it up, you just do it without till it
You didn't have a
came around again.
crooked black market bunch.
Yeah.
Everything was rationed. Not anything you eat out of the store, buddy.
Just like growing up upstairs.
And then
down
all
the
the
back
people,
porch, you know.
they was more women working factories then than was men. In Portsmouth.
Supporting the war?
Yeah, they had to work in there, buddy. They wanted to do it or not.
But
Then
what
they-
was the 3 C's you guys went to?
Yeah.
That's what Fortune was in, him and Burns both.
Oh, okay.
Then the WPA, that see, the WPA was before that. The WPA built that big rock school over there.
And that was that help people get on their feet and stuff?
Yeah,
Dad worked.
It's a government program, you know, to give them something to do. Then President Roosevelt's one come out with a 3C deal.
And what'd they do? Build highways and
Highways, it worked all over the United States.
yeah. You told me Uncle Bernus was in Wyoming.
Rock Springs, Wyoming, Forster.
Somebody went to Maine
Idaho.
picking potatoes.
I went to Maine, 12 years old. Picked up potatoes because didn't have no help up there.
You just, so you just went wherever they sent you.
But they had a guy over us,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Wherever they needed
Some of them
it.
went to Idaho, some of them went to Maine. We went to Maine.
And you
Go
were only
rock across the river.
you were only 12.
I think it's about 12 for me.
And what'd you do? Just go dig up the potatoes or what?
No, they dig them. We just picked them up and put them in barrels. Got 13 cents a barrel, I think it was.
That's not a lot of money today, is it? Can't do
No,
anything with 13 cents.
I saved, it stayed up there, I don't know, about a month, I guess, a little longer, and I saved $80-some. I thought I was rich as John D. Rocketville. They fed you, they had gas lights and stuff up there. But they pile them up, see, and the dirt would fall off, the potatoes would be out itself on the ground. The
Wow.
dirt would go through that other part. And then we pick them up, then they had a big truck would pick them up and haul them, and they had a big old building out there, and they'd take them up on top and drop them down and shoot them in that building. And then they would bag them and ship them wherever they sent them
So did you go to school?
to. Huh?
Did you go to school, grade school?
Yeah.
How was that compared to today?
Oh, entirely different. One teacher done it all.
8 grades.
All 8 grades?
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be
One room.
One room, so you'd be in the room with the first graders through 8th grade?
Yeah.
a big pot-bellied stove in the center.
Hot belly stove.
Was to heat with. The building not insulated or nothing. Cold. We'd have glass around the stove.
To the summer, but everybody did really.
There'd
Did
be
you-
how many students in the 8th grade? Wouldn't be over 30, would you? In all 8 grades.
And where would you go to? Where was the
Right up here to
Up
Wyamon,
here.
Shoulder Blade School.
and the
Now where
building?
Jim Combs lives up there.
And the building's gone now.
I'd love to have a picture of that. You,
I found one in Kentucky, Florida.
oh, did you?
Yeah, shoulder blade.
So what'd you think about school? Did you learn?
Yeah, we had good teachers.
Like you probably care about the students too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They was close, and buddy, they walked the line too, or get blistered. Take that paddle, bend your hand back.
Oh, you get spanked. You can't do that today, can you?
And switches.
They'll call 911.
Then we had a spring over there across the creek from the school. Yeah, it's still there, I guess.
I'm wondering about that.
It's totally dirt. I'd say the dirt's got it now, they're filled up.
Probably.
And then we'd take our lunch, we'd take it in a large bucket. Back then, you ought to come in buckets,
Yeah.
the metal buckets. Take your lunch and that, and then our milk we'd take over and put in the spring. Keep
Oh,
it cool.
keep it cool. How long would school last usually?
About the same as it does now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But everybody had to walk, you know.
And we'd be cold by the time we got to school.
Especially in the winter, right?
Yeah, I wore long handles.
Now see, I cured
You
this
wore
all
what?
here.
Long handled underwear under
Oh.
my pants and all.
Yeah.
We had to, didn't we? 2 or 3 pair of pants, the boys would, and
So they never canceled. They never really canceled school. There wasn't a way to really cancel
no,
it.
we
What
always.
was the first book? Primer they called it?
Yeah, primer.
Primer?
Books.
And where was high school at back then?
Breathed.
There was still Breathitt High School,
Uh-huh.
the older building, right?
Yeah.
And they never hardly, they put chains on the buses. We hardly ever missed any school, did we? And go across town hill,
Yeah.
chains on. And now they make, they just, the road's much better and all, they have to.
Look at that many more kids. Pitiful.
We didn't, I never.
Well, they'd serve lunch up there too. There for, well, I'd say when you was going, but
Yeah, They petitioned off a little
Place for the
square
kitchen.
and had a wood cooking stove, you know, like Mom had,
Mm.
and would have a cook and we'd have hot lunch.
And then the mail, Art, come right up to, well, he come down out of here with a load of mule and had, the mail had two big mail bags that lay 'em across the mule, see?
Mm.
Then he come up here to where Loretta lives, across the road there, was the post office.
New
Hey.
Turner, was that his name?
Yeah. And
On a
they,
mule, how he, and it was just that poor old mule, how he hauled that, I don't
half sickle sticking in his belly.
know. Yeah,
that
The
long.
mule?
oh yeah,
Well, he brought that mail from Ethel, the railroad down the way.
yeah.
How long would it take you to get a letter from somebody back then?
Shit,
Like
I
today,
should
it's 2 or 3
remember.
days, 3 or 4 days.
about
a week.
So if you send something to San Antonio, I probably wouldn't see it for a month, would I?
Be at least a week or longer.
Yeah.
They got out of these hills. And then the post office up here was Juan, Juan.
Yep.
That's where all the mail we sent was Juan, post office.
Was that post office used to be where Preston and them lived?
Yeah. Not in that house that's up there where Charles had lived in it.
Yeah.
That was,
That was the post office?
Yeah.
they had a store too. Well, Brian had one up here in the bottom, didn't
Brian knew.
he? Bedford's brother, Brian.
See, I don't
So he
remember
moved away,
that.
and then that's when he moved it up there to the,
To Bedford's.
you know, up here in the Y,
Yeah.
where the school was.
And then after Bedford died, Emma took over and moved it across the road, right? Post
I lives
office.
across the, yeah,
A little building right above Loretta's right now.
yeah.
See, that way I can get more of you.
Yeah.
So what else? What was your favorite part about growing up, Aunt Faye?
My favorite part, I guess, being the baby for so long. You know, I got to.
Everybody paid
Dad-
attention to you?
Dad pitted me off.
What about the brothers?
They was all good to me. You know.
Did they take up for you when you needed them to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl was always a little. He pretty well stayed to himself. Didn't he?
Long.
But see, when Wyamon and them went to Michigan and worked when I was younger, see, I didn't really grow up much around you guys, did I?
I wish I'd never left home in the first place.
He and Bernice and Lloyd and
But wasn't nothing to do, you know.
no, about everybody did. And the one I was around the most was, I remember Carl going to school, and I wore pigtails as a freshman. He was a senior. And they was, you know, Mom and Brady to hanging down here. So in the morning we'd get ready for school, like I'd be standing here, he'd go way above me and stand. And he said, Mom, they don't wear pigtails to school anymore. You're gonna have to, you know, quit doing that face on her. He was ashamed of me, really.
He'd take his bicycle, buddy, and put a gravel or something if it'd been moved
Matchsticks.
to see if she'd been
You know,
bad.
stick matches.
Uncle Carl lived?
And Mark, yeah, he knowed every time I got on it. One time I sneaked it, and me and Louise went down the road and ran it into a ball door fence there at James Pence's. Oh, I thought I'm dead. And come back, you know, and then Daddy tried to buy it from him. For me, because it's handy for me to run the store from. He sold it and would not let Dad have it for me. Let somebody else have it.
When I was growing up small, you know what I enjoyed?
What?
I done down this creek here, gigging them
Frogs?
minnows and anything that moved. You know what kind of gig Mother made for me?
What?
Took a fork, cut it off, drove it up in a piece of straight wood, you know. That's what I made a gig out. And then she made my cutting port hooks and stuff. She'd take a straight bend and make a bend back a hook.
And they worked when you'd go fishing?
Yeah, it worked. You'd lose some,
But
Still
then they
work.
had big old lash pins, wasn't
yeah.
they? They wasn't little, they would be some that long, big, strong ones.
So what was your nickname, Daddy, when you was growing up?
Simp.
Simp?
Simple Simon. Forster nicknamed every one of us.
And what was yours?
No, I'm not going to repeat it.
No, you have to repeat it. I got it.
Crackaway.
Crackaway. Did
Crackaway.
somebody hollered at you in town one day? Who
Yeah.
hollered at you? Crackaway.
Crack. I wouldn't even look over that way.
Oh.
And he kept running on hard crack. He's whining.
Who was that? Who Forster? What he called? City Bird.
City Bird, Carl, and Chickabomho was Burnus.
Chickabomho.
Yeah, Chickabomho. Wanda was Pungy.
She was what?
Pungy, I don't
Pungy.
know. Pungy, wasn't that it? Pungy?
What about Aunt Margie?
Shrug.
Shrog.
I don't know where. And Lonnie, I don't know what he called him. What did he?
Don't remember.
He might not have called him anything.
Yeah, I don't think
at
he
that
did.
point.
He get the big cut with twisted tobacco back then, you know, you say. When you drive, they make twist out of it. Forster gave him a big twist, go out there in the barn, set fire to himself. The rock wall, laying out there and chew that with.
Mm.
Then I spent a lot of time, what Faye did too, with Dad's aunt, Nanny, lived across the road.
Yeah,
Every time he come a storm, buddy was up.
she hollered one.
They peddled all the time in Prairie County back then, trying to make a little money. They wouldn't get anywhere at night.
Old Pearl, and then she.
And she tell me them tales, buddy, when I left that, I sure tell straight back till I hit the door.
And then they used to be gum, they call it charcoal black.
Yeah.
Wyamon and Wanda would go over there and take Aunt Nanny some to watch her chew. She had no teeth. You remember that one? Charcoal gum. It tasted real good.
She sat in that big rocking chair, something like that there, and rocked back and forwards. Tell you them big scary tales, buddy.
Ma could tell them too, God, Ma Lula. Oh my God.
Oh, they'd scare you. Tell you scary stories.
Yeah.
How old were you there?
I was 12, 15,
You'd still have to walk through at night though, through those woods,
Yeah,
right?
but see, she's telling about that panther coming out of the holler here, up at the house, down that point where the house burned.
Yeah.
Across, hear you screaming for miles right through there. Come and scream all the way down that point, down to where the barns are, through the little house there, and at that point, screaming. And buddy, out that night, you talk about moving on.
So was that Grandma's sister?
Dad's
Dad's
aunt.
sister, or Dad's your Grandpa Combs' aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was her
his
last
mother's
name? Nanny.
Gross.
Nanny Gross.
She was Grandma Peggy's sister. Daddy's mother's sister.
And Peggy's last name was what? Do you remember her maiden name?
Chadwick.
Chadwick. Yeah, we looked that up on Ancestry.com. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah. There was a bunch of them kids.
And what was the father's name? Peggy
Pearl.
and Pearl.
Earl.
Earl and Peg. Now I've got her great grandma with a list of all her kids up there at White that Eddie Isaac years ago laminated for me. And it lists Grandma Peggy and all the kids. All of her brothers was that one in the center. You see it White?
Yeah.
She was a neat lady, had a brooch on.
I'll take a picture of that for her later.
We killed the big fattening hogs, you know. Clean them, scrape them, that's a bad job.
Did you ever make pets out of them like we did?
No, we didn't. But anyway, they make that live soap.
Old Mama cooked that and
Well, we had to make whatever it could make.
Well, Grandma Combs churned butter even when I was little.
Yeah.
yeah. And I'd love to have some today.
I like
A lot better taste than what we have now, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. You can get that, it's whipped, Mark, in a little cup. Have you heard about Land O'Lake? Whipped.
Is that the closest?
It tastes so much like cow butter. It's white, and it's in a little paper container, like a little small cup, like cottage cheese or something, but it'll say Land O'Lake whipped butter.
Hmm.
It is good.
So do you remember bootlegging Daddy?
Oh yeah, had to make a mini gallon.
Oh no, that's one thing. When I was little, and I remember as they come to buy it, I'd have pockets on my little, dresses. So One day I had, my whole pocket was sagged. They'd give me money as they come to buy it.
Who'd they buy it off of? Grandpa?
Yeah.
Did he make moonshine?
You had 6 60-gallon barrels.
Where was they? Where were they? Where were they
Up in
hiding?
that holler.
Up in the
I
hollow.
don't know.
Yeah, the holler that where the doors, that house that they built.
Yeah.
And so then he sold it to just private people. Then a lot of them would buy it with a 8 or 10 gallon, all you get, and sell it themselves, you know.
Do you ever get caught?
No,
George did.
George.
George did. Well, Dad took it for him.
Dad spent a year in prison for him, Atlanta, Georgia.
So his brother wouldn't have to go?
Yeah, he would have got 10 years, right, Mom? And Dad went and left Mom and was it you and Bernice and Lloyd, 3 of you there was Mom.
I think it was
She
3.
said Grandma Peggy made it. She hadn't made clothes out of Dad's for them. She wouldn't have nothing to put on them. They'd starved to death too. But he took the blame and spent a year, and Uncle George got out of it.
There ain't nothing wrong with
What
having a
brother
little
would
nip.
do that and leave his family, and
Not many.
they were close, wasn't it?
You'd turn your toenails up there, that would.
Oh, what he'd make?
Yeah, now take a straw up there, you know. Maybe that's why I like booze so good. It'd stick right down through that beer, you know, when he's working, it'd boil.
Yeah.
And then the bugs, the mice, I just take that straw right down through it. And
You'd drink some of it? How old were you when you do that?
I had that moonshine, I don't remember now. But
He just grew up.
me and Forster, usually Forster's with me. Go up there at daylight and stay all day. Then me and Forster tested, you know, when you run put the beer in, you run it off. It's steam and get the booze out of that beer, and then he doubled what we call, that was singing. Then they doubled it back, see? Doubled it back, and we run it till you had the fire there under the steel. You throw it in the fire when you started to turn on blue blaze,
Yeah.
then we cut it off.
And out of corn. Is that what you made it out of?
Yeah, all